They could try to fall back to the Keeper of the Light. I think Cockle mid against Snapfire doesn't sound too bad. You stand way far back from the wave. With the Illuminate, spam that out, clear outside camps. You almost always just hit your farm timing. Still plays into the Shaker
Oh
quite
my
nicely,
god,
and they go for it. So it's there. It could be flexed. We saw Raji take
Whoa.
this. Okay, so it's the Bounty Hunter mid. Maybe. Bounty Hunter mid against Snap doesn't sound any better as your melee hero. At least you'll always be in the Snapfire's face. So there's a weird play here where Cookie is a bit harder to land against melee heroes because they can dance around that radius a little bit better. Dance around the stun radius of the Cookie flying forward. So the Bounty Hunter theoretically has a better game and should be able to trade with Snap there. I like that from SMG. We've seen Moon take Bounty Hunter mid before. Again, it's still flex, but it does look like Bounty Hunter is set for mid. Raji takes that Keeper for Light in the support once more.
Okay. I mean, why not, right? Like, it's been a while since we've seen Moon mid on the Bounty Hunter, but I do enjoy seeing these very different kind of variations of the mid lane with these newer heroes. I've heard ramblings as well, if it is going to be the mid Bounty Hunter. I have heard ramblings about how powerful Shuriken Toss with Aghanim Scepter is right now. I've heard it's completely busted because of the changes to Shuriken Toss. We'll have to wait and see if it is going to be mid-bounty. I don't want to count our chickens, or rather the eggs, before they hatch, or whatever the saying is, John. I have no clue. But mid-bounty, let's say it's against the mid-Snapfire. Who wins out that matchup, if that was to be the matchup?
I think in theory, Mike, it sounds weird because you're melee versus ranged. At the same time, what the Snapfire plays with best her spells. So Scatter Blast is still easy enough to land. The Cookie's a bit harder. Because again, you can see the Cookie fly out. You can sidestep it a lot quicker because you're closer to that stun radius. Whereas where you're ranged, it's harder to judge where the Cookie's going to land, which target's going to get cookied. It's hard to judge how far you have to step around. For a melee here, it's a bit easier to just walk forward and avoid that situation entirely. So I think in that sense, the Bounty should be able to hold that lane better and just be aggressive because you're up close. So it's harder for the Snapfire to look for a good angle to get kisses off because you're always going to be by the creep wave, and in that sense closer to the Snapfire, so it's easier to just run up, trade hits back. You have the Shuriken, as you mentioned, with a mini stun to actually stop the kisses as well. So this does give Moon a couple more tools, and I think that does lead to a better lane. And one benefit as well of Bounty is, even if he has a slow lane like in game 1, his level 6 is a bit more impactful in the sense that he can get side rotations out and just play with the track, bounce back that way through hero kills on the supports.
Fair enough. 25 seconds left, SMG. Final ban out. This time around, they seem to believe it is not going to be the mid-snap. You know, they are banning out what appears to be mid-heroes, as the Invoker was removed here, and they'll get rid of the puck as well. So not wanting to give those comfort picks over to Yopaj, Boom Esports will focus on the position 1s of mid 1, getting rid of the Peel and the Gyrocopter. It's not the greatest, say, Monkey King game here for mid 1. You have the Beastmaster Hawks. They are able to scout out the Monkey King very easily. Instead, they're going to go for the Silencer, and now I'm very intrigued to see where everyone's laning or what they're doing on the side of it. Do you know what's happening, John? Go on, tell me what's happening.
What if you take Bounty Hunter for mid 1 on safe lane, Silencer mid against the Snapfire? That sounds a lot more manageable for a Silencer to deal with. And you have Global Silence to deal with the kisses as well, if you want to go that route.
I have heard. I know I was talking about mid Bounty Hunter, but it kind of goes the same way for position 1 Bounty Hunter. Slightly different. But if you were to run carry bounty, it is also known to be very potent in the right hands. Then again, we have seen mid 1 play pos 1 silencer before. And of course, we've seen a lot of Moon position 2 silencer. So it seems very flexible. I don't even want to play the guessing game. I just want to wait and see what happens here from SMG. I'm very excited about this draft. I can't wait to see how Boom Esports finish their draft off here. So I'm thinking, how extreme can they go on their side of things? Like CTM, he doesn't like to be outdone when it comes to drafting wacky stuff. He likes to be the craziest dude on the block. So what's CTM got up his sleeve, John? What's this last pick we're looking for? Is it a Yopaj hero?
they could flex the snap, like just have a Enchantress Snapfire support duo, Bloodseeker safe lane for Palos, and something else for Yopaj. Up against what SMG has, though, they have really good control. Maybe a Spirit Brother could still zip around. They go with a Kunkka instead.
Wow.
So likely Yopaj Kunkka, we're not getting the Snapfire core. Yeah, it does work out that way. It will be a Moon Silencer. So I think
Wow.
SMG's managed to flex that around really nice. They go with a safe lane bounty for mid one.
I love it.
Silencer against Kunkka. That's a lane that sounds pretty good for Silencer. Although Kunkka can just play with Tidebringer. It doesn't get scared too much. But Moon can just build up, going for the QE build, Arcane Curse, and Last Word. And eventually that's going to hit some insane timings. It's another ridiculous set of drafts from both sides, right? It's just playing with a flex, and I love that with these two teams, Mike. They just bring out some really strange picks no one else is just willing to experiment with.
It's going to be a very exciting game 3, and I've got to give credit like you just did, John. These two teams have been really drafting some very entertaining drafts, to say the least, and I can't wait to see what happens in this game 3. But John, I will ask you the hard question. Before we do get into this final game of this best of 3 upper bracket final between these two teams, who do you think actually has the superior draft? It's a hard question.
It's a toughie. I'd lean towards SMG. I think the Global Silence counteracts the Snapfire really well. To a certain extent, counteracts Kunkka, because they want to counterfight or initiate. And if you cut off even one spell from that combo from Boom, that entire process just gets broken apart. I think for SMG side, they have this really early lineup. Run and gun is the name of the game, right? You run around with your bounty hunter, get track kills once you're level 6, level 7, rack up the int stacks as well on your Silencer down the line once he has value points in the glaives, and you really scale nicely. So I think the timer is a lot quicker for SMG. Not to say that Boom's slow. They have a really quick lineup as well, and we have to remember that not just Yopaj Kunkka, but FBZ Beastmaster is something that Boom, throughout every iteration of its lineup, has always relied on. Right? It's FBZ Beastmaster. It always plays fast from the off.
Don't run up that high. Oh, that's a great fish around from Arfu, but it may not matter. Bloodright's there. Do they have the follow-up? Not quite. He's out. So the Fisher does indeed buy him enough time to get himself out of there. And I believe it connected on basically every hero on the side of Boom Esports. As Arfu, he'll get a reset and eventually make his way back down to the lane.
Doesn't lose out in much. Boom are still posturing though. They're still holding the high ground. They are under vision.
Stun out, Illuminate, gonna do a fair bit of damage there onto Tim's. Curse is out as well from Moon. Back to the high ground now for Boom Esports. Very back and forth already between these two. Still moving in, they'll spot out KP. I think against that level 1 Illuminate though, you've got to be very wary about how much damage you really take from Rogi. Palos, Blood right out. Boom, they're gonna move in. There's that Illuminate again with the curse out. Gonna go through 2 heroes. And they got the stun off on Yopaj. But in the end, he gets the bounty. And it seems like KP's gonna be the one in trouble as they've got the enchant out. Rogi's gonna try and help, but it will not be enough. First blood, the way of Boom Esports. Quick D-ward out from CTM. And you couldn't really ask for a better start for this Radiant side.
You get an even bounty rune trade. They get the bonuses coming through. They get to leverage their level 1 timing, as you know, they might not have as much stuns, but they've got a great amount of damage coming through. Do you see the lane split out here, Mike? Palos down with a Bloodseeker along with CTM on the Ench. Of course, we are seeing Afu and KP again on the Ven Shaker lane, and we remember what happened in game 1. KP was off to a really slow start. Afu could not rotate mid. So that's the changes we have to see here in this 3rd game. We have to see them leverage that doubled stun and look for more aggression and get some mid rotations in for Afu.
That was a great Fisher block from Afu. I mean, did you see how much damage they just dealt in right clicks to Palos? And this is why I love the Afu Earthshaker. Like, he maximizes and makes everything as efficient as humanly possible with this hero. Every time he lands a Fisher, it's always just on target. And it always gets a bit more than you'd kind of expect. So you've got to kind of make it as impactful as possible with these level 1 Fishers as well, because once CTM has a few more levels up, with the enchants especially, the lane's going to become increasingly more difficult, it seems, for SMG.
Yeah, and again, it's back to that game 1 where KP had no game. Now, the big difference here is you're up against a melee core, which is much easier to manage with your double stuns. You can play around. You just have to watch for that slow creep here, though.
Yeah. It's a great creep to get. CTM getting the ghost. Still stun is out. KB, the fish is there. They'll have enough. They'll trade back the way of CTM, and Arfu will pick up the first kill of the game for SMG. And with that, we'll have a look at the mid lane, where you've got your Paj, you've got Moon around. I'd say the Kunkka should have somewhat of an advantage, but it is quite hard to say it against the Silencer, especially when you've got a player like Moon on this hero who has proven to be very, very effective on this mid Silencer. But John, who would you give the advantage to in this matchup?
I'd say Yopaj has an easier time getting the wave clear going, and Tidebrink's just so good in clearing out a creep wave. Nice kill down bot onto Palos again, just because it's a mule core, but Yopaj is not going to be shoved out. Even with 2 levels in Arcane Curse with the last word up, it's good at just harassing Kunkka. It doesn't stop him from wave clear, and Silencer just doesn't wave clear the same way as a Kunkka does.
A lot of damage though, Moon really trying to add on to that harass. Oh, that's a great curse as well. He doesn't actually get any of the bottle charges that Yopaj was about to use. So he won't get the extra value. Definitely was a nice little attempt there from Moon. So we'll head up to the top lane and have a quick gander at that as well. You've got mid 1 on that position 1 bounty hunter along with Rogi. And of course you've got Tims and FBZ around on that offlane Bloodseeker and Snapfire. In fact, hold that thought because Yopaj, he is dropping extremely low and does go down. Oh, the curse. The last tick was enough to get rid of this Kunkka. Moon able to finally get a solo pick off in that mid lane is now mid 1. Top lane's gonna drop. FBZ and Tims able to get the kill, but now Tims is gonna survive. Just barely. The Illuminate is not enough to finish off the kill.
Yeah, and it's a trade-off. The top lane for SMG is a tough one for mid 1 to sustain. You're a melee hero up against FBZ's special Beastmaster, something he loves to play in. The cookie combo with Boar, with a Snapfire on hand, just makes it so easy to look for those opportunities to get those kills. And mid 1's already off to a very slow start, 10-2, way behind even Palos in his rough lane. And I think as long as FBZ maintains that pressure with a Snap, you're going to have a good time in delaying that level 6 spike, delaying the track kills from coming through from SMG.
You know, I think one thing we forgot to mention during the drafting phase as well, John, this Coddle Bounty Hunter matchup, right? Like this duo. When you use the Chakra Magic with the new Shuriken toss, it literally has a 0-second cooldown on the Shuriken. So he throws one out, refreshes with the Chakra Magic, and immediately gets a second. Don't forget with the Aghanim Scepter, it doubles up and keeps bouncing between the heroes. So essentially, if you do get the refresh going with all the tracks out, you could theoretically hit every single hero, they believe, with 4 shurikens. As mid lane, now Yopaj ends up securing a kill there with Tims, but Arfu's going to chase down the Kunkka. Won't be able to secure the trade though. So one moment Moon's going down, the next moment Yopaj is obviously going down, and it's a 1-for-1 in the mid lane so far between the two.
But that's what we needed to see from SMG. You know, we talked about the Shaker in game 1, Afu going down mid by the 4-minute mark, didn't come out in that game, comes out here. And that's what they really need to do. It doesn't line up for a kill, but that does mean Afu's ready to put his presence forward, look for the stun plays, just get the damage off with that silencer. And Moon is level 6, he's got 303, skips a global silence, just goes for that laning damage, and if Yopaj is not careful, he could just fall.
Oh, nice Fisher. Arfu is going to trap Yopaj in that river. Moon, he won't have quite enough damage yet to deal with the Kunkka, but you can just see how much damage over time is being dealt. Loses half his HP just off that one combination. He doesn't even really have a small camp to go back to. Has to go for the D ward with the sentry.
Step lively now.
Moon, another combo out. Arfu, he's always on target. And this man, he just lands fishes whenever he wants with perfect precision. Or rather precision. As Arfu, he'll keep the chase up. Yopaj, he's got a double damage rune now, but it won't matter. He'll run right into Rogi. Surely he can't survive this, and he won't. They do take him down. It's a bit of a group up in the mid lane here from SMG, but it is certainly going to be worthwhile if they are killing off Yopaj and that Kunkka.
I think the key thing for SMG is that they're giving Moon a game. So they're allowing the silencer to keep farming up. Have to be careful with trade, so Raji will be able to TP out, seeing the cookie committed. But it is something that allows them to play. This is a big shakeup from game 2. where we saw Moon just shut down. He is having a much better footing in this game, having more CS, slowing down Yopaj's timings, is a level ahead in the silencer. Has that max arcane curse. So if he lands that combination with last word, you said half HP last time, it should be a bit more this time around.
Oh, absolutely. You see the poor Kunkka just suffering right now. He's being constantly silenced here by Moon. And there you go. Look at mid one right now, John. He's got the axe queued up already. I believe he's got the point booster on the way. So with those shuriken bounces and with the fact that you're going to have the Janata being applied with the Ags, it's just going to be so much damage output as he rotates down bot. He hasn't got level 6 yet, but with this kill out on Palos, he will hit his level 6 timing. And this is when SMG should look to get very aggressive with this bounty hunter, I think. We'll see how involved mid one does get, but I imagine he will at least be around to try and get some tracks out.
Just get the tracks. I have to point out here, Mike, that the Ags upgrade for Bounty now is Janata on Toss. Because the Shuriken Toss bouncing, it's built into Toss already. So it will just work that way without the Ags. It's going to be bouncing even without the Ags. The Ags will just add more damage with Janata stealing gold and doing bonus damage as well, tying into their minus armor with that Venge nicely. So physical burst on hand for SMGs lining up. They will try to get that push going bot. It's not a quick process in comparison to FBZ's Beastmaster offlane, as it's a Beastmaster, it just melts objectives, so we'll see how long it takes, but they will commit the heroes running tree down bot right now. The side of Boom's not quite ready to push themselves, but FBZ is cutting off the jungle. He spotted out the stacks and he's stealing them away.
And he is. Palos going to get scattered out here by our Fu. Nice observer ward there, just keeping tabs on what the Bloodseeker's doing at the moment. I do really like that. Oh, Rogi top lane. So he has accepted the fact that he is going to die as Tims just walks in and FBZ had plenty of damage with the dominated creep. And I wonder, John, I mean, with the Ags upgrade, having that Janata strike on the Shuriken toss, what do you kind of follow up with that? Like, are you looking for something weird like a Desolator, for example? Or, like, what's really going to add on to that damage output?
Deso is probably your best bet. There's always the cheeky Dagon build. I hate that I have to justify Dagon Bounty Hunter, but yes, it's probably also one of the better choices in terms of just getting those kills fast with a track, finishing off the supports in the back, going from there. Desolator is probably the best for scaling, though. And you could go that. There's an argument to be made for Echo Saber. I'm not sure if Echo Saber with the Ags and Bounty Hunter applies the slow, because it's technically an auto attack when it applies Janata, in a sense. So it could work that way with a nice micro slow when you toss out the toss, but probably not. Still really good in terms of getting some right clicks off, so you have forward presence as well. SMG, they are still lining up bot, right? Like, they're still grouping around the Bounty Hunter. They're just grouping 3-4 heroes in the bot lane, taking over the jungle. The side of Boom are kind of cut off, but they are playing top as well. We'll have to watch their mid. SMG can easily swing their bodies towards the mid lane. Issue is their push, again, is not that quick. And while you are getting some space in that jungle, FBZ is just slowly but steadily chipping away at the top tier 2 alone. And if he is allowed to take that tower out, take the outpost, that could open up the Roshan here for Boom.
It's just standard play here from FBZ. Like, he's known on this Beastmaster to just consistently stay at the top lane and be very annoying, just trying to force rotations. Back from SMG, don't allow them to go around the map and add up with these track kills, but rather force them to come back and deal with this top lane. Luckily, you do have a position 5 keeper of the line available on your side if you are SMG, so you've certainly got the answer. And Rogi won't mind just hanging around that top lane and just continuously keeping it pushed out. This is assuming he doesn't get caught out and ends up dropping. But at least for now, FBZ's decided he'll leave it be. Farm up that Dire jungle and wait for a better time to go back after that top tier 2. Of course, you still have the mid tier 1 to go after as well if you are Boom Esports, so no real rush for the tier 2 quite yet. I know naturally they'll want the quick outpost. In fact, Moon, he's going to have a bit of a rotation up to the top lane. Problem is this Hawk is giving vision. So they know Moon's there. And this TP is going to amount to nothing.
Yeah, just some time that he's not using as effectively here on SMG side, Mike. Moon missing out on some mid farm. He was at mid, just holding that tier 1 by himself. Probably getting a bit antsy, knowing that his damage output's at its highest now. Going for max arcane, max last word. He just wants to find some stable kills, build off from them, just not finding that opening. In fact, they haven't been able to play around track. So I think for Boom, he managed to avoid all these fights really nicely and just prevent themselves from getting built up by farm.
Can they kill CTM?
Behold!
They won't even try. It's a classic Enchantress kill. You look at the Enchantress, you're wondering, can I actually kill her in time? They are seemingly quite desperate here on the side of SMG to actually get some track kills going for this bounty hunter. So I don't think we've even seen one quite yet. Not really happening at the moment. Mind you, mid 1, very close now to that Ags. It's about 500 gold off. And that's when the party really starts to get started. However, rotations are here. Yopaj, he's going to be there with Tims and CTM. They'd love to find that bounty hunter right now with him being so close to the Ags, and they will. With the turret out, they've got the boat to fly in, but a nice swap from KP will ensure that mid 1 is safe. Kisses immediately cancelled off by the global silence. In SMG, I don't think they're going to counter-initiate, though they may try now. Moon, he showed up. They've got the silencer to back them up, and Tims, he might just be dead here. In fact, never mind. He's got the raindrops, he'll be just fine. In CTM, he's going to be there with the heals out, but in the meantime, mid lane, FBZ is pushing out that tier 1 tower. And SMG, they're being forced around the map to try and respond to the pressure being applied by Boom Esports. They are doing a great job of it, though. Arfu's going to get roared up. I don't think they can capitalize off that roar, however. Arfu, he's still trapped in the X. Torrent is going to eventually be out. Yopash, he does land it. Echo Slam committed. Arfu, he's going to try and fight back. But eventually they do get the kill. In fact, now Moon has been stunned, but it won't matter. The follow-up won't be there. Mid 1. The track's out. Swap out into CTM. Blood right. Be there to try and help out this Enchantress as Illuminate does fly through, but nobody's dying. KP, he'll be the second to fall for the side of SMG as shurikens are bouncing all across the heroes, but nobody's dying. Moon?
It's an issue. Oh.
Maybe this time. With the last word, it should be enough. CTM, he's going to try and salve. The curse will cancel that off immediately.
Yeah, it's one kill. SMG still not quite finding the big fights they want. Boom doing a good job of just avoiding in general. Right? You're not giving opportunities for the tracks to rack up. You're not giving the opportunities for the spell spam or the chakra on Bounty Hunter to really kick in. That Ags you talked about, Mike, is up. So they will smoke and look. Let's see if this does enough with the damage on it.
Now, Tims could be the first target. They get the track out, they've got the fish on, they should have the follow-up control here to make sure Tims dies. And he will, it's mid 1. He'll keep going for more. Onto Palos they go. Big kill on the Bloodseeker if they can find it. Shuriken's flying out left, right, and center. But mid 1, he's been ruptured up. He can't go much further. CTM, he'll be targeted. But Boat's going to fly right into the face of mid 1. He's still alive, however. Yopaj, he'll have to back off against Shurikens. Flying out more and more.
Jeez.
CTM in trouble. He'll go down. Roar out from FBZ onto Arfu. But he won't be alive. The Dominated Creep will get it done as mid 1 somehow throughout all this damage has survived. But for how long? The chase is back on, but Yopaj, he can't get close. There's too many shurikens flying out. KP, he'll try to finish the job, but can't quite do it in time. Back to Rogi. He could be in danger as FBC's around, but instead they want the silencer and they've got him. Mid-Mon, or rather Moon, is down. There's now KP. He might be the second to fall, and they will get him. A very long and prolonged team fight. Boom Esports, you could see them struggling, John. They were very worried about those shurikens, but in the end, it still goes the way of Boom.
It's just not enough to really hold off on the side of Boom. Like, it is annoying having that bounce around. It is a good amount of gold bouncing back towards mid 1 because of the Janata hit, stealing some gold away. Not enough to really get the damage out that they want. I think they're going to need more items coming through. Perhaps some protection for their silencer. It looks like Moon is trying to rush the Ags, so he's going all in on damage as well. AoE last word with the Arcane Curse. If he does get this Ags timing quick enough, and that is where Silencer starts to feel like a massive issue, especially if the game drags late into the level 25 point. Issue is they need more track kills for that to come through, and it's still not a simple process for SMG to find those pickoffs they want.
X out. They've got the KP. X out on Tims. Tims, he's in trouble. Looks like he might just drop here to the Illuminate, but no, he barely survives. It won't matter. They've got another Shuriken. It's mid one. He'll keep going for more now. Yapaj, he'll be the target. They can't really keep up with him. It won't matter though. Every track kill's a good kill. In fact, they might have an opportunity for more now as Palos, he's going to move in, but he's got the Rupture out. Boat with the X out onto mid one. He'll be protected though by KP as they'll try to go on the Venge instead. With the Roar out, they've got him. In fact, mid one, he's a bit of a sitting duck. They'll get him once again on the bounty. And while it is still very scary with all the Shuriken tosses happening, if Boom managed to find the bounty first with the Rupture, it's very hard for mid one to be able to survive through it.
They just have to get that control on that bounty hunter first. Keep him down, prevent him from spamming out those spells. The range of his Shuriken toss is pretty ridiculous though. Not just because, well, it gets increased range from the Ags, but the bounce potential. So it's basically double what you see when you mouse over it, because it can bounce max range as well. And SMG's been doing a good job of just trying to play a war of attrition. In the end, even if you spam that spell a million times, if you don't find a kill, the tracks aren't racking up. And Boom still hold onto a 4K lead, 11-9. They've got control of the map. They've been playing spectacularly well, in particular with FBZ. His micro on the dominated creep's been on point. His Hawk usage has just given so much vision out. And it's just hard for SMG to find the opening. They will smoke up. They do not have global silence, but they could try.
CTM, again, any kill that's a track is great for the side of SMG. CTM, though, he's still alive. There goes the hill with the Glimmer Cape TP out. He won't make it, but he may still make it, John. He's still running. CTM, can they kill him? No, they can't. KP, he's in trouble. He's going to drop. And now the chase is on. There's more Shurikens fly out. Yapaj, he won't quite be able to find an X. It won't matter, though, because they save CTM. And now, with the Helm of the Overlord up, they can easily set up for this top tier 2 tower. No problem.
Gotta say that Granite Creep really kept CTM alive. Just the added HP gave him enough to live through. And SMG, no global silence. If they force a fight, they're lacking really big team fight tool. Maybe they could try to get a good slam out from Afu. He does have the blink. We haven't seen it come out yet. Boom's been doing a good job of just staying split up in these fights, not giving any openings towards SMG at all.
Last word out. CTM again going to be targeted. Without the heal out, it won't matter. Another kill there for Moon on the silencer. 12-10 now, John. 4K net worth lead for the side of Boom Esports. Is there another power spike we're looking for this carry bounty hunter?
The bounty hunter itself, and the BKB is going to help him stand in front. I don't think control's been an issue for mid one though. Like the BKB won't help him against a Rupture. It won't help against a Roar. So this is only going to allow him to stand against probably the Kisses and Cookie, which for the most part they've been using on other heroes. I think the key thing now is for Moon to take over, and for KP to hit his Ags timing. You're very close to that Venge Ags. You can throw a body forward, play from there, swap around, be more aggressive with Venge positioning, and that does give you an angle to actually find ways to use that slam in these fights.
Smoke break in the mid lane. Rogi spun out Tims and FBZ. Mid one, he's around. He'll get the tracks out. Meanwhile, bottom, Yapaj looking to set up on Moon by himself. Might be able to get it done. He has been silenced though, but the X-Back is right in the nick of time. They don't have the follow-up, however. Yapaj, he needs to run because mid one's now on the chase. Get the track out. He does have CTM behind him, and he still has a lot of time for his team to try and catch up. But here come the Shurikens. Afu, blink on cooldown. He can't blink into Fisher Yapaj. And in the end, the Kunka's going to be just fine. And in the meantime, Roshan has been started by Boom Esports. A great distraction play here from our Kunka, as Roshan is going to go freely the way of Boom Esports, it seems.
Really sneaky play, SMG. They smoke up just a bit too late. And that first Aegis will go the way of Palos. They are still in the area, but they're scanned out.
Oh, Palos, he's a massive pick off the Bloodseeker. They might lose him, and they've already lost the Aegis. KP, he'll be roared up and will die as well. He's got that Remnant, but it may not matter. He'll try to swap and just run his way out. But in the end, it is going to drop as now the Kisses start to fly in on the heads of SMG. But they're going to be all right. Only KP being lost here, and they did end up getting the Bloodseeker Aegis anyway. So not really too big of a loss for the side of SMG.
I'd say you're happy enough. Without the Aegis, Boom's going to be a bit wearier of going for big objectives. At the same time, that is mainly the Ag's reveal on KP, so they're aware of that illusion coming true. They still have enough control to deal with it. The side of Boom, they are still ahead by 5k, but the gap between the cores aren't that big. Moon is keeping up quite nicely with Palos, and Palos, FBZ, and Yopaj have been dead even in net worth. So you're not having a major item advantage on your cores. It's really just down to mostly the supports in the off lane. That's where the big difference coming out for Boom. And that means SMG can still play. We haven't seen them find the angles. We haven't seen them get most track kills yet. I think the pressure's on Afu. It's starting to become an issue of teamfight control and getting burst damage off. And we haven't seen Afu find the angle for the big slams, which it's not his fault. He is trying to get up there. Boom's just super disciplined in splitting up every time. They have to funnel them to a really tight spot here.
Big group up, X out, they've got the Earthshaker. Yopaj immediately into the BKB, but the Global Silence is going to follow up to try and help out. Afu still being chased down, however, and eventually will go down as now KP's been caught out. And that'll be another kill to go the way of Boom Esports. Is SMG unable to find any form of a pick-off. And the net worth lead will extend to 7k the way of Boom. And when you've got a bounty hunter on your side, having the net worth deficit is never going to be a good thing if you are SMG.
Yeah, it's not a good sign. With a bounty hunter, you're supposed to be snowballing. And to be fair to mid one, he had a really good timing in the Axe. It's just not as impactful as we were theory crafting, unfortunately. We'll still have to see. They still have an opportunity as high ground defense for their lineup with a Shaker, with a Silencer, with a Keeper of Light. It is pretty good to hold, but you have to watch for the Hawk Dives now as the Shard is up on FBZ.
We'll deal with the dominated creeps there. They at least get the Helm of the Overlord creep, and it's immediate smoke up. That may have been scouted out. In fact, it was. There was a Hawk around. So they know the smoke is there. Yopaj, he's still going to rush for the regen, but the Echo Slam is committed. Afu really wants to lock him down. And Yopaj eventually is going to pay for trying to go after that rune, as now CTM is going to be focused down. But can they take him down? KP is the one in trouble again. And you really can't underestimate the amount of damage that Boom Esports can pump out, as KP will drop. SMG still looking for another way back in, but the Hawk Stun is going to be there, and now the dominated creep is out with the Rupture and the Roar. They've got mid one, they'll find another. Tips out immediately from Boom. It's mid one, he's confident.
He was tracked. That's the thing. He died tracked up, so Boom actually finds a track kill somehow with her Lotus Orb use. That's something the bounty hunter has to be really careful about next. If you're tracked up, obviously you can't be sneaky with your Shadow Walk, and if you die, well, Boom starts to build up even more gold. So nice track kill for Boom. SMG, they find one kill. It's not enough to turn the game towards their side. And for Boom, this is just a steady process. You find a pick-off, you force the team fights, you look for the push. You've got massive creep armies with a Beastmaster and an Enchantress to an extent. And you can just keep playing for objectives, whereas SMG, it's a weird situation. They need pick-offs, they haven't been finding them, and it doesn't feel like any items coming forward fixes any of those issues. The Axe is up on Moon, so the AoE last words there makes it easier for him to farm out a creep wave, cut through waves, get some farm going, and can be a bit ridiculous, but you need to find a way to group Boom together. It's just discipline from Boom. They stay so far apart. Look at the precision here as they go for tier 1. They keep at least 500 units away from each other, never clumped up at all.
Certainly not. And now the big smoke up as well, right into that mid lane through the river. And KP, he's frontlining for the team right now, just trying to secure that tier 1 mid, but in the meantime, mid 1, he's going to break the smoke. Fisher out to try and hold them back. They haven't spotted mid 1 yet, but Yopaj, he'll go after KP first instead anyway. Torrent's going to fly out. Boat still being held onto, but eventually he does get it out. Mid 1, he's got the BKB, so he'll be alright through the boat, but the damage with the right clicks out, Palos, he's got enough. Yopaj will claim the kill, and they've got another. KP's already down. The Remnant won't last either. Yopaj is already on his way to trying to find another hero to send back with the X. He might find Rogi In fact, never mind, they found him instead. Fisher's out. Lock him down. He'll manta off the silence. But can he survive? He'll try. Mid one. It's gonna show back up, but there's your track being bounced back the way of the bounty hunter. At CTM, he'll enchant them up. And with these hawks, these damn hawks constantly stunning these guys up. It may not matter though. Echo Slam is there, but Afu, he doesn't have the damage on his own. In fact, never mind, because mid one with the shuriken toss, he got the kill, but it's going to cost him his own life. CTM's out with the tips again. He just keeps up the mental warfare here against mid one. As Afu, he's going to jump in on the Earthshaker. But what can he do? Roar out on KP. He might die a second time. Yeah, and he's gone. FBC's all over it. KP, you can try and run the best you can, but there's no running. They even found Moon.
To the deeps with you.
Yeah, they just clean up. Raji, last guy left. Still trying to be cheeky, but not going to be able to find a snipe. And boom, finding every kill. They're building up that lead now. They forced a die back on mid one very early on. They're going to be able to rip through the tier 2 tower. Possibly line up for high ground. And they don't have their Bloodseeker, but he's not necessary for the push. And they know that Global Silence is down on respawn. They know it's one man trying to defend. There's no Echo Slam as well. So a lot of leeway here for Boom to just go for the objectives and start to build up even more of an advantage. SMG, they need to temper in the aggression. Afu's been going for one-man Echoes because that's all he can gun for. He can't find the opportunity to go for more, and I think that's just causing massive issues for SMG. The only way to go around this now is, again, just becoming hyper strong on your silencer, having Moon just farm up so much more, maybe go for attack speed, or just a Sight of Vice for one piece of solid control to melt someone down. Any of those items are a long way off for Moon. It's just not ramping up yet in the silencer, and the track kills haven't been flowing in.
Mid one. Back out onto FBZ, but he sees him. Swap out KP. He's going to try and keep the bounty alive. So the shurikens do get started. KP, however, may not be so lucky as it's another nice Fisher out, but the Mortimer's Kiss is in from Tim's. But make sure they get the Venge kill. On some more, Yapash, he's already killed off Moon. Down on the backside, they're going to commit the buyback immediately, but what are you going to achieve from this buyback? You're already at a deficit without KB, and it doesn't seem like they can actually force a fight.
Middle barracks are under attack.
Yeah. It just doesn't line up for SMG. Like, they tried to bounce back in with a buyback. No real opportunity. Global Silence is on cooldown. They couldn't really turn around with that spell use as well. And Boom is just starting to really run down SMG's side. The theory crafting of, well, the track and the early ags on Bounty Hunter just isn't paying off. Mid one's trying to go for Travels next. Perhaps trying to just be all over the map, have some more move speed to chase heroes down. The big issue is FBZ. Like, you see those Hawks all the time that stuns you, just cutting off SMG's initiation.
CTM just has everything but the kitchen sink thrown at him, and he just takes no damage. Just pops the heal out of the mid lane and just back to full. No problem. Nothing ever happened for this man. So, SMG, they just need to find a way back into this game. And I know you love to reference the level 25 mark on the silencer. Maybe that's kind of what we're set to expect here. But he's just so far off that point. It's just hard to imagine you even get to that level 25 mark the way this game's going. As more Hawks dive in. But there's a 20k deficit here for SMG as now mid one has been enchanted up by CTM. Even the creeps themselves are doing too much damage right now to mid one. He's forced the BKB up, but the Rupture was already there. Onto Moon. They got the roar out. Swap from PP, but the Mortimer's Kisses, they are just flying in. Mid one, how do you survive this? The answer is you don't. You just accept it. As Palos, he's on to another, and mid one, he just calls it. He knows. They miss the timings. The draft just does not work out. And Boom Esports, they'll be your first grand finalist for Season 8 of the BTS Pro Series.
Boy, what a spectacular fashion to do it as well from Boom. They look pretty dominant across every game, really. Even game one where they lost, they had a massive lead for a long time, and they just made a couple of mistakes that SMG built up on. I appreciate what SMG did though. You know, they went experimental. They went for the bounty hunter safe lane, the silencer mid that we love to talk about, never really comes out. Didn't pay off. As you mentioned, Mike, they missed their timings in SMG. They hit that track timing. They hit the Ags timing really early, but they didn't find kills. They didn't find a burst. And if you don't get kills with a bounty hunter core, if you're not building up, bounties, you're not building up the track kills to have a snowball. And boom, props to them. They played with the information from FBZ's Beastmaster really well. The Hawks were doing so much work. They were very disciplined as well. They were super split up every single time, at least 500 units apart in every engagement. Just never gave an opportunity for Afu to get that slam and for Moon to even use his Ags in a meaningful way.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good point. Like, we constantly talk about how great Arfu is on this Earthshaker. And, I mean, they just didn't give him a chance. Just by their positioning alone, they would not allow him the opportunity to actually give a comeback to the side of SMG. And I really appreciate the draft from SMG. I think it's always nice to see these kind of really flashy drafts with the POS 1 bounty and everything like that. But obviously, it just doesn't work out for them in this Game 3. I saw you smile, John. Have we got someone for an interview?
Yeah, we've got FBZ himself ready to come in. So
right. I'll drag him.
Get that in the way. Yeah.
Hello, FBZ. Congratulations on your victory, sir. How are you feeling right now?
Hello. Just fine. I'm not really happy because I haven't win the tournament. So I wanna focus for tomorrow game.
What we love to hear. It's what we love to hear. Talk to me about today, though. Like this upper bracket final. Going into it, were you guys feeling very confident in your matchup against SMG, or were you a bit nervous going into the matchup today, FBZ?
Yeah, we definitely feel confident because we played against them like 1 week ago, and even though we lose, but I think we know that they're weak, their players are weak, and we are stronger, so we're really confident to play against them.
Okay, fair enough.
Wow. Yeah, that's some strong words, FBZ. I'm curious, going into the grand finals, you have what, 3 potential opponents. So it could be SMG again, it could be Motivate Trust or Polaris. Out of all those teams, which team would you want to face off against? Do you just want to play against SMG once more because you're so confident against them?
Yeah, I think it should be better for us to play against SNG again because we kinda know how they play. So yeah, it's better to play against SMG for the final.
Fair enough. I've got a bit of a question for you, FBZ, like a personal one. I remember when Tim's was announced in, there's a little video of a group chat going, right? Your one condition for having 4 Filipinos on was that they'd speak English. Are they treating you well, or are they forcing you to learn Filipino instead?
No, they don't force me, but they usually still speaking Tagalog when they're like gossiping outside the game, and in that time I just quiet. I don't understand anything.
All right. Well, I'll apologize for my fellow countrymen. If you need anything translated, feel free to hit me up, of course. But yeah, congratulations on the win, and congratulations for new Boom lineup, looking great, and hope you guys keep it up.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, FBZ. Good luck in the grand final, sir.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. The lovely FBZ. Some very strong words, John. You kind of mentioned it. He particularly said a weaker players. So very confident there from FBZ, and he is a very confident man. We've spoken to him before. Sounded a bit tired, I might add. I guess after a best of 3 series, probably a lot of pressure on him to try and pull off the victory. By the way, John, just so you know, while we're live, you did cut me off. I had some more questions for the man, but
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm just joking around. You did the outro, and I was like, it was a good outro. I'll leave it at that. 3 questions. I'm sure the Twitch chat will be a little bit annoyed with us, but it's all right. We'll ask FB. If he's so confident, John, he'll win the grand finals, and we'll get to have a long interview. So there you go. With that, though, we do need some more teams coming up through the lower bracket. And we do have one more series on tonight. Motivate Trust against Polaris. Now, I must admit, I was a bit shocked. I honestly thought to myself GXR would make their way through. They did get 2-1 by Polaris, so Polaris looking very, very strong as they've made it through to this next kind of section of the lower bracket. And if they are able to beat Motivate Trust somehow, then they make it through to the lower bracket finals against SMG. We are going to head to a short break, and of course, right after that break, we're going to be back with our next matchup between Motivate Trust and, of course, the side of Polaris. See you then.